In today's video, I'm going to be discussing a $2,400 increase plus $1,200 ongoing monthly checks as it pertains to Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, and SSI, as well as everything you need to know about these potential changes. I have all the details for you right here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. First off, thanks so much for liking and sharing this video with those buttons right down below. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, as long as you're down there, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Again, a big old subscribe button waiting for you down there. Thank you so much for your support. Really do appreciate it. All right, so as a fixed income beneficiary, do you think you need a little bit more money right now on a monthly basis, on an annualized basis, and over the last couple of years here? Yeah, right? I think I can answer that for everybody here. I think that's something that everybody needs right now, especially low income and fixed income. It's not that hard to figure out. Last couple of years have been really tough. Again, you hear about this all the time. I see all the studies, the reports, the surveys. I see the comments down below. It's a pretty obvious situation that's going on right now. However, there's two different potential changes that are out there right now, one of which, again, $2,400, the other of which, $1,200. Now, a lot of the times when we hear these things, it's like, well, do we get to choose? Is it like one or the other? How do we decide which one we want? In this case, I want to clarify exactly that, because in this situation, actually both would be up for grabs in these potential changes that are coming out here, okay? So that's what I want to point out really fast here, is that it's not a decision like, well, I want to choose this one or that one, and it's for these reasons. No, in this case, I want to point out the different details that are out there right now and how both of these technically could be implemented at the exact same time, and all of which would impact the low income and the fixed income. Again, I'm going to clarify exactly all of this here in the video, which, by the way, I do get questions about this on a fairly regular basis, some more than others, different topics, but I get a lot of various questions here on the channel. Down below in the comment section, I do receive some emails here and there about different topics like this as well. And again, just want to clarify it for you here in the video. There's a lot of different pieces of legislation that are out there right now, a lot of different potential changes to Social Security, fixed income benefits. You know about it. I've talked about it before in other videos. You've heard about it from me. You've heard about it all over the place. It's everywhere, okay? Anyway, I want to break it all down for you. All right, so first off, let's quickly talk about the $2,400. Now, this is in regards to the Social Security Expansion Act. You've heard me talk about this before, right? This one is the piece of legislation that contains the $200 per month raise to benefits, right? This was introduced by Bernie Sanders and buddies about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago or so, give or take a little bit. After it was initially introduced about, 4.5 years ago, back in early 2020 is when it was first brought up, and obviously nothing ever happened with it then. But the $200 per month raise would be $2,400 per year is what that translates into. Obviously, right? $200 a month, 12 months, $2,400 a year is what that translates into, okay? Now, this is one piece of legislation. That would be to raise Social Security benefits by $200 per month, okay? So that is something that is out there right now. Has it been passed yet? No, has not been passed yet, okay? I've made that very clear in other videos, and just want to make it very clear here in this one as well. Just want to clarify that for you really quickly. Now, the next one really fast as well, and again, I'm going to bring these kind of full speed, and I'm going to wrap these together here in just a second, but the next one is also another piece of legislation that is out there as well. This one is totally different. This one is from a group of lawmakers who wants to implement basically a nationwide guaranteed basic income program. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this before. Guaranteed basic income can also be called, universal basic income, UBI, GBI, monthly checks, monthly stimulus checks, ongoing checks, recurring checks, whatever you want to call it. It's literally all the exact same thing, pretty much. I mean, there is a difference between UBI, Universal Basic Income, and Guaranteed Basic Income. These two are a little bit different, but for the most part, it's just ongoing, no strings attached checks for a specified group of people, okay? Now, there is legislation out there to do exactly this, to implement $1,200 ongoing monthly checks for 5 years for the low income. Now, they've identified the low income as anybody, a single person, with an income of 75 grand a year or less. That's a very high low income in my opinion. Now, they've also identified a married couple as $150,000 a year or less is what they had identified as low income. Again, 150 grand a year is a pretty nice low income in my opinion, right? That's a pretty nice income. There's not that many people out there that make that much. But anyway, My point is, this is a totally separate thing, okay? This would want to be implemented on a nationwide level as a monthly check program, no strings attached, the best type of payment, right? Just like the stimulus checks that we got a few years ago, right? Again, no stimulus checks right now. I've said that very clearly in other videos, but just like we've talked about before in the other checks that we've received, a few years ago, the stimulus checks were literally kind of no strings attached payment. You could do anything you wanted with it. You could save it. You could pay down debt with it. You could buy shoes with it. You could buy groceries with it. You could give it away. You could gamble it away. You could do anything you wanted with it. It literally didn't matter. There were no restrictions on it. No strings attached. Same thing here, okay? So now let's wrap these both together here really quickly, okay? So a couple minutes ago, I talked about the $2,400 a year, by the way, the $200 per month raise or the $2,400 per year increase to monthly benefits, okay? Now I've just talked about the $1,200 per month, by the way, ongoing monthly check, the nationwide basic income program that other lawmakers have introduced. Two totally different pieces of legislation. Now the big question is, can you get both of these at the same time? The simple answer would be, in theory, yes, absolutely, 100% you could. Why? Why can't you? Well, there's no reason why you can't, right? They're two totally different pieces of legislation. It is not like well, you get to choose one and then you don't get the other one. No, that's not how it works, right? Unless for some weird, rare reason that the $200 per month raise would push your monthly income, or I should say annual income, over the thresholds of what would be identified as the $1,200, monthly check program. Does that kind of make sense? It's not. I'm going to tell you this much. If you're receiving a fixed income benefit, you're not going to be pushed over the income threshold unless you have other income sources, maybe dividend income, portfolio income, annuity payments, what else? Pension payments. You're not going to be over that threshold. I just highly doubt it for the vast majority of people, okay? So in theory, the big question being is, can you receive both of these at the same time? The answer is, yeah, absolutely. In theory, you could. Now, this would take a lot of action out of lawmakers. This would take a lot of brain power and a lot of physical activity, as in voting, talking, negotiating, debating, writing the legislation, or it's already been written. I mean, the legislation has already been written. It's already out there, but they always amend it, right? There's not that many times that they bring legislation to the floor and they say, looks good, let's just pass it as is. No, it doesn't really work that way. Usually there are a series of amendments that go through any piece of legislation that comes to the floor before they actually pass it through both chambers, the House and the Senate, and then move it on to the president's desk for a final signature, okay? So in this event, either one of these, number one, could be passed at any given time. I don't want to make any promises. I have no clue what they're going to do. I'm not going to sit here and promise anything. That'd be nuts, okay? I wouldn't do that. There's no reason to. But both of these are still in the legislative state, okay? So they're still out there. They're still available. They could be passed at any given point. I don't know if or when, but they could be at some point, okay? If, for some weird, odd reason, that they were passed in quick succession of each other. In other words, one was passed, the other one was passed shortly thereafter, then could we get both these at the same time? The answer would be yes, absolutely. There's no reason that you wouldn't be able to, right? They're two totally different things. One is pertaining to establishing a basic income for the low income through guaranteed basic income on a nationwide level. The other one is boosting Social Security benefits. Totally different, right? They're very, very different. There's no reason. So again, same thing here. Let me give you another quick example, okay? Let's just say that you're a fixed income beneficiary and you get your annual COLA raise to your benefit. And then let's just say, in theory, they announce a stimulus check. Would you be able to get the COLA and a stimulus check at the same time? Of course you could. There's no reason you can't, right? They're two totally different things. So the answer would be, yeah, for sure you could, right? So anyway, again, by the way, no, stimulus checks are not announced. These two that I'm talking about here, they're in lawmakers' possession. They have them. They're not passed yet. That's the problem, right? So we have a lot of time here and a lot of time that they continue to just waste. Let's just say that much, right? Just doing all other things, dilly-dallying around, but they could easily be doing a lot of these things. Kind of makes sense, right? So these are some of the legislation pieces that are out there. There's a ton of them that are out there right now, but these are a couple of them that would put a lot more money into the pockets of low income and fixed income. And honestly, these would be very helpful. Even let's just say this much, even if they didn't do both, they just did one of these at one time, That'd be massive for a lot of people in a huge way. Anyway, I hope that answers it for you. But again, please, if you have not done so yet, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all of which down below. Leave your comments, your questions, your feedback, again, down below in the comment section. Otherwise, check out the other videos here on the channel, the thousands in the video library. The ones I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And right now, popping up on your screen as well, you'll see some videos there. Thanks again, truly appreciate it. Have a nice day, take care, and I'll see you again in just a second in the next